for trying to overturn the adoption. Are there multiple cases that could happen out of that?
LIEnette and Crook are already in 3 court cases with me, and now they find themselves in another one in the family law courts with the fight for protecting and having a child.
She's a person, not a paycheck. Exactly. And ladies, I struggle sharing this with you, although I'm sure you've heard it already in our videos, but the surrounding neighbors will tell you it's 24/7 yelling and screaming and profanity. And there's actually videos of Harley repeating the profanity that Crook says and LIEnette says. And so the neighbors surrounding are willing to testify in court against them, and they fear them. And they realize this is so unhealthy for a child to live in this environment. So what would your desire be for Harley ultimately?
To be with us, to gain custody of her so that she could grow up with the rest of her family and get taken care of.
She definitely needs to be in a stable environment. I believe that it's going to be a lot of work. She definitely needs to be evaluated. I don't believe a lot of things that LIEnette has said due to her illness. But most importantly, she needs to be loved in with family and get out of the environment that she's currently in.
Yeah, she's definitely in a very, very, very toxic environment.
Toxic.
And for her to continually post on Facebook that she had this beautiful home in Northport where it was newly refinished and marble floorings and it was paid off, for her to sell that home to move to Otter Creek to live in a shed.
Right. From what I understood, the house wasn't even nice to begin with. She was a hoarder. There was definitely
posted. It was a step up from a shed with no indoor plumbing.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah, I heard it was small.
Definitely Vera has told me bringing the children over there. She wouldn't ever allow them into the house, but she begged and pleaded with her one day for my other niece to be able to use the bathroom. And there was just enough space to walk to get to the bathroom. But other than that, she was a hoarder. There was things everywhere piled up.
Well, if you
look at her yard now, and you could kind of still see them same
traits, right?
Oh yeah, looking at her property from the outside, you could tell that they're a hoarder. And when we were physically on their property, they just had stuff everywhere. And if you watch the body cam footage of the Florida wildlife officer there, again, stuff everywhere. Piles of glass, piles of rusted nails, piles of sharp objects, piles of food. It's just, and then, and if you watch the entire video, the body cam footage of the officer, he even walks up to the outer shell of the house and he pans over and you see it's completely empty, or they're using it as storage with totes and garbage in there.
Which is crazy because a child at 4 years old wants to run around and play, and they're very curious onto everything. So it just kills me that CPS is not doing anything to remove the child from the home, like even with looking outside of the home.
Yeah.
Even a
Has
home
CPS given you any follow-up whatsoever? Why they're not doing anything or what they've done? Are they giving?
They don't really get back to you. So the first time I'd called, they did call me back, ask me a few questions. Of course, they say they get back to you. Nobody ever gets back to you.
Yeah. LIEnette, once she had told me everything that was going on with What the Hills, because I wasn't aware of none of it until she said that she believed that you guys were going to try to get in contact with the biological family. I guess she got scared and decided to tell me what was going on. So
what did she tell you?
She just basically said that she had some YouTuber coming after her and wanted to get in contact with the biological family. Basically, that you were going to get in contact with the biological mother and try to get her involved to have Harley taken away from her. I didn't realize the severity of everything until I started watching you on YouTube myself. So then I kind of like told my sister-in-law, and then we just were like, what the
Hails.
hails? Yeah. What the hails?
I can promise you, we have been saying the same thing. As she told you, a YouTuber was coming after her.
Right.
She came here after us, and ever since we've been looking at each other, going, "What the hails?"
Right.
Out of this world stuff. So I got another question. What do you think a woman such as LIEnette and a man such as John CROOK, what do you think they leave a home in Northport that's supposed to be beautiful and remodeled, and they're near hospitals to take care of a child with an issue, and there's family and friends? Why in the world, in your thought process, would they pick up, go to a town in Otter Creek, which is in Levy County, one of the poorest counties in the state of Florida? We didn't know that before we came here. We don't care about the aspect of what people make as far as money.
Right.
We just wanted to be left alone. But they come to a town, and CROOK has even stated that we targeted this town on purpose because they were so poor. Then what is your thought process on why CROOK is here with LIEnette, bring a child to a town of 100 people
with no hospital?
It's
nowhere near.
So why?
Taking her
Why?
further away from her metabolic team if she has this life-threatening disorder.
So your thought process is why? Why would she do this?
I know that she had told me that she wanted to move there because of the fact of the population, and with the fact of COVID going on, she thought it would be more better for Harley not to be around so many people. But she had this whole plan of building a home and all of this extra stuff that never even happened.
But still, it does make you wonder why people do that kind of stuff, because they don't want nobody seeing them and what they're doing. So if you're doing that, why? Why are you looking to hide when you have a daughter that needs special care and treatment, and we're a lot more closer to everything, and now you're far away deep in the woods and nobody knows nothing?
I honestly believe that she got what she wanted when she got to adopt Harley, and once that was all said and done, it was like a paycheck and peace out, Vera, and now I'm going to move somewhere else or whatever, and now you can't see your grandkid where you can't see what I'm doing with her. So
you think the child was a paycheck, number one, and then she went, definitely. All right, now I'm going to alienate the child from her family, and then I'm going to go to what the hails, which is going to be my paycheck number two.
Because she's done it before. This is like a repeating cycle with her. I mean, with our investigations or whatever that we have gotten information about, she's done it before. This is not the first time or the last time or whatever that she's probably going to be able to do it. Well, I hope for my niece's sake and everybody else's sake that it would be the last time. But
and in your investigation, I'm sure you've seen that she attacks people's lives and livelihood with lies. Particularly, it always ends up she's the victim of some kind of sick, twisted, and it usually goes into a what a normal couple would have an intimate relationship, but it'd be inappropriate touching or inappropriate, relationship. And she starts accusing and she attacks, and she's been successful in this culture. I mean, and we have this whole culture now of #MeToo, but it's not just females, it's males, and we've got females actually accusing males of this. And I'm in this process right now where she said that one of these signs that we have says that I'm just going to say I'm a rapist. Her daughter No police connection whatsoever. And I am $125,000 deep in legal fees so far. And I state this to ask one particular question. Are you afraid she's going to come after you next?
I'm sure she will.
I
almost guarantee she will. But no, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either. I mean,
if I could get my niece to safety, which is my number one concern for her, then it'd be all worth it.
Yeah,
so I'm hearing a child is more important than what she says about you.
Yeah. She can attack me. She can say whatever she wants. I know the person that I am. So
she does when she doesn't get her way, which is
I have so many messages or whatever in my phone right now from her when she doesn't get her way with me. So
you become a smear campaign for her if you don't get, and that's how we are in the position with her, because she didn't get her way with using our fan base, getting free publicity for the turtles, which carry salmonella, by the way, and isn't supposed to be safe for this sick child with this life-threatening disorder.
So and aside from both of those issues, aside from both of those things with the tortoise and the rescue, my concern is when she's on doing her hour-long talk to the phone text message so she can post her booklet on Facebook. What if Harley gets out, Harley climbs into one of them turtle pools and can't get out?
Oh my goodness. I don't even want to think about that.
So that's what I'm thinking of. Over here in New Jersey, that's my concern. When she's not paying attention to her, little kids are curious. Very curious.
Very.
And
I watched the wildlife rescue video, and he talked about how the turtle can't get out if it wanted to. Harley wouldn't be able to get out either.
Well, did you notice how she picked up the infected turtle, didn't even know it was infected, and then used the same hands and grabbed the child's hands, didn't wash in between, but this child has a life-threatening disorder.
Yeah.
So which is it? Is she using the child to exploit her for sympathy money, or is this part of a scam?
She definitely,
probably all the above.
Right. She's definitely done it before. I mean, when the other child was taken away from her, it was said in her own words, typed in paperwork, saying, well, there goes my paycheck. And she considered the child as a paycheck. She could care less about anything that the doctors were talking about or psychiatrist was saying about anything. She just was mad that she was losing the money, not the child.
Yeah. And
it's sad to say there's no denying when you read that.
Right.
You know, the type of situation that them kids went through.
Yeah.
It's certainly not what I want to see for Harley, being where she needs extra care.
I want to know, how is the fact that she has all this time to be on the internet and be a troll and whatever she's doing, and my niece doesn't have the proper care that she is supposed to have? Like, why don't you involve yourself into taking her to the doctors or a speech therapist or potty training her? But you don't have time for that, but you have time to sit here on the internet and argue back and forth with people.
Or run for town council.
Oh, yeah. And then another thing, running for town council, and you're sitting there and you're worried about streets. But what about something for your child to benefit your child? Because I didn't see none of that.
Yeah. Not only that, running back and forth to the courthouse multiple times, the countless number of times she's running back and forth to the courthouse to fill out paperwork complaining about him, that it's not her, she's innocent when she's not innocent.
Right.
My biggest concern thus far on video was in their contempt of court hearing. John Crook is in court on trial through Zoom. LIEnette comes in and says, there's a coyote, it's killing the dogs. And then Harley, the child, is not there in the camper. And LIEnette's hand is passing notes to Crook. And the judge calls it out that he hears LIEnette. This is after we hear there's a coyote attacking all the dogs. And where's the child? Crook and LIEnette are inside the camper. Where is the child? Now, I state this because I have a federal case against them. And by the way, they just filed a motion begging for a free lawyer, and the judge did the right thing and immediately denied it. They will be held responsible for their actions. They will both be in federal court. Where will the child be? Will Marla Hughes, their biggest supporter who they've never met, are they going to trust Marla Hughes to watch this child? I mean, where's the child going to be in federal court?
So I asked her when the only phone call I ever had with her, that I'm sorry to say, but your age is a little up there. God forbid something were to happen to you, then what would happen to Harley? What were your plans for Harley? And she said that she would give her to her sister Patty to take care of her.
Well, her sister Patty is the same age as she.
I know.
Maybe a year younger.
I didn't know that at the time, but I learned that shortly after the phone call.
And from what the biological and stepchildren have shared with us, just as messed up upstairs as LIEnette. And so I'd be extremely concerned.
Not only that, she created a parental alienation group solely based on that sister and her own
and her mother, Marcia.
Yeah,
It's
well,
still,
I've heard
it's
some
still up and running.
on our investigation. We've heard some crazy things regarding her mom, and so I'm sure that helped in turn make LIEnette just as crazy as she is. So the cycle, and then you see what she did to the girls and how much trouble they are having and experience moving through life. Harley needs to get removed from that environment before it's too late.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She's still young enough. She is still young enough that a change can be good and she could be fine for the rest of her life.
From my understanding, you two are being very proactive about this, and you've set up a GoFundMe so that you can raise Harley. Is this correct?
Yes.
So we're trying to overturn the adoption. So there is multiple cases that could happen out of that. We're not exactly sure. We're leaving that up to the lawyer. So for right now, we are looking to overturn the adoption.
So as of right now, you do have legal representation, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so are there any fears or hesitations with taking this to court?
No.
No. Not
I
at
love
all.
it. I love it. Without any second guessing, you literally say no, none whatsoever.
No.
The child is that important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I want to clarify that from the onset of this, and my legal team has continued to ask me, Jeremy, what are your goals in this? And I've always said, number one, you may even know from watching videos, number one is to save the child.
She's
You
an
said that-
innocent.
You said that from day one
Yeah.
to me.
I realize we have a GoFundMe right now for all of our legal fees, and our legal fees are crazy.
Right.
But I want to be clear to the What the Hales family and fan base that we are adults and that the child is vulnerable and in a very, very compromised situation right now. And I'm going to encourage the What the Hales fan base to truly understand what goal number one was. Okay. Goal number one wasn't, all right, let's give to Jeremy and George's legal fees. Goal number one has always been to save the child.
The innocent, defenseless child.
Right.
And I want to encourage the entire What the Hales family to actually give towards that end, because that is goal number one. That is the most important thing. And frankly, George and I have talked about this, and we've said we have no idea where our legal expenses are going to end. We could end up at $250,000. We could end up at $500,000. We could end up at $1 million at the end of this. God forbid that happens. But we've had to ask the question, is it worth it? And the answer is, it is worth any amount of money to save a child. Would you agree?
Definitely.
And God bless you for even stating that and looking out for Harley's best interest from the very
we
beginning.
Definitely really appreciate you throughout
Because
this time.
if you didn't shed the light to us, to everybody, we would have never known what was going on.
Definitely.
So do you have a plan in place? And I think George actually probably can verbalize this question better. I'm going to ask, if you do get Harley, which we pray you do,
Mm-hmm.
George, you could follow that up, because we always finish each other's sandwiches.
You know that she has her condition, which is the GA1. Do you have plans on finding the appropriate medical team? And I'm sure you have hospitals nearby.
We have very good hospitals nearby, multiple very good hospitals,
Yes.
all of which I looked into it, and several of them have metabolic disorder units that, then you get dietitians and you get a whole plan.
How close are they?
Evaluated. 35 to 45 minutes in any direction.
Yeah.
Because right now she's driving 2 hours away from her medical team, which makes
we're 45 minutes from the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, which is one of the biggest hospitals for children.
Mm-hmm.
We have Cooper Hospital, we have Robert Wood Johnson Hospital, Voorhees. We have multiple hospitals.
They're all very good.
And then if we went over the bridge, another maybe 15 minutes, then you have like University of Penn and, a bunch of other hospitals.
Well, then that would probably go hand in hand then with having those hospitals nearby, is getting the proper therapy for the child, because she knows nothing but exposure of those two constantly going at each other.
Right.
Verbally, mentally.
We definitely know that she's going to need therapy. Definitely.
And you start out just by getting her evaluated to see where things stand.
Yeah.
And then you move forward in a plan from there. Because you don't want to overstimulate her either in the very beginning. You kind of need to wean her into all of that you're about to expose her to, because she is not used to any of it, apparently, by being kind of locked up over there, I guess you could say. So you got to just ease into it with her. And, once you get her evaluated and you see what her true medical conditions are, then you put together a plan and you move from there.
From my observations, the child is starving for interaction and attention.
Mm.
I've seen multiple people walk through the background, and
she's got 1,000,001 cousins over here.
Yeah. And she has her sister that is younger than her, which I think would be great for her to learn from. The one that Olga has custody of, Emiliana, she is very well advanced.
Very well.
She sings nursery rhymes, ABC. She counts from 1 to 10, and she's 2.
Wow.
Right.
So she, I think it would be great interaction for Harley to be with a sister and play and learn stuff from.
Now, don't get upset with me, but I have to ask, are either of you living in a shed?
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry,
my house
Dad.
isn't the greatest in the world, but it's definitely not a shed.
No.
Looks to me like it's filled with love.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
We definitely are very family
So
oriented.
I have multiple children. I've had custody of other children in our family for years. So we're like the foundation right here. And we take care of all of them. I don't care from 1 to 60 of them. If any one of them needs something, they know where they can come.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, this is my observation. I am not a doctor, although I've worked in the social sector for many, many years. And I've counseled for many, many years. And from my observations, while it's not a professional observation, I see the child as very, very developmentally behind Are you prepared with a plan? And I know it's preemptive as well. You have a lawyer. You are moving forward. You are filing suit. These things are happening, but I'm asking: is there a plan in place for success for the child, knowing the lack of care that she's received and knowing she's developmentally behind?
I think she could catch up once she's introduced to it all, and she starts getting the proper care. I think she's 4. She's at a vulnerable age right now. She's absorbing and learn. Now's her time to be learning things. And if she's not getting exposed to it, how can she learn it?
She's definitely learning things from over there, but they're not the right ones. They're very much sponges at this age. I think that if we get her away from her, there's still enough time to be able to do what we need to do as family to get her to where she needs to be.
What can the What the Hales family do to support your endeavors and really your fight in court?
So really, it's very expensive. We reached out to over 20 different attorneys to try to even find one in the state of Florida that even handles overturning of adoptions. So after some searching, I found one. She's great. She definitely believes there's a good chance in doing so, but it's expensive. And honestly, I have a lot of children in my home that I take care of on a daily. And being that the state hasn't done anything on that end, I'm at a no-win situation. I've reached out to the state multiple times to do something. They haven't removed her from the custody. Our only option is to ask for help from the public to try to help us get her.
So the help that you're asking would be financial, correct?
Correct.
To GoFundMe. And I'm going to ask your permission. Are you okay with us sharing that out with the entire What the Hales family?
We couldn't appreciate it more.
Yeah, we definitely.
And you understand, once we share it and once we release this, LIEnette and CROOK are going to know. It's going to become public information. Even though we've been talking about it behind the scenes, are you okay with them knowing?
Absolutely.
I'm over it. I'm done. Like, I want to get this thing over with. I want her removed from there. Like, enough is enough. Like, we did our investigations. We're over it. It's time for her to come home with family.
Wow, that's
she needs to be safe. I'm just worried she's not safe over there. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. And for a child that young, it's scary.
Yeah, very much so. We agree with you completely and totally. So we are going to do that. We're gonna share that link within our comments, and we are going to encourage the What the Hales family to really focus on goal number one. Goal number one has always been save the child. That has been goal number one. Goal number two has been save the townspeople. And we are townspeople. Mm-hmm. And there are others that have been under attack. And my fear for you ladies is you're going to be under attack now. But it sounds like you have thick skin and you're ready to fight.
I don't care what she got. My ultimate goal is the child.
A safe, stable, loving home, right, without the daily verbal attacks, emotional attacks, and the child witnessing it from those two going at it at each other's throats, which we hear about from all the neighbors, which is sad.
And have witnessed it.
Mm-hmm. We've witnessed it.
Definitely seen videos.
What questions would you have for us, ladies, that we can potentially answer for you as you're doing investigations, as you're working with a lawyer? Are there things
there's nobody else that's closer but you guys? Just to know that if you see Harley, know that she's safe. Because after this comes out, I'm really scared that 1, she may hide her, or 2, try to take off and disappear, or God knows what.
Right. That's the biggest concern. I know that I have had contact with her, And once this comes out, that voids all of that. So I just want to know that she's still safe.
Yeah. We'll obviously do what we can to keep our eyes on the situation. And under the circumstances in the Florida courts right now, there's only so much that I personally can do. And Georgia's her own person. She can do whatever she wants to do of her own accord. But we will absolutely do whatever we can do, because the goal hasn't changed from the very beginning. The goal has never changed. It's her safety, the townspeople's safety, and then the animal. People before animals. I know there are some people that, they love their animals more than people, but I always put people above animals. Whoa, it sounds like we got an animal.
Yeah. I like animals. I like kids. I'm glutton for punishment in my life.
What animals do you guys have there?
Dogs, cats.
No coyotes and no turtles?
No what?
No coyotes attacking the dogs and no turtles?
No.
Do you have any moles? I'm very fond of moles.
Oh my God. We do live in the woodsy area. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can find one out back or something, but
My cat used to bring them to me.
That would be the best. That would be the best for her to go out and play with her siblings and cousins. And my goodness, I mean,
that is definitely our number one goal.
Get her enrolled in school. And
Yeah, well, it's really good because our township offers a 3 and 4-year-old program. So children can start school at the age of 3, and they go all day. They go from 8:30 to 4:30, and they have plenty of stuff for children with disabilities. So
Our
I've
school
witnessed
system
it.
is really, really good or whatever for children with disabilities. I have a couple of friends that have kids that are not in our township, but bus their children to our township because they have great like autism programs over here and a lot of things or whatever that they help with that other townships don't provide. So our school system is really good in that aspect.
that's good. That's good to learn.
yeah, that's extremely encouraging.
Yeah.
What else would you want to say to the What the Hills viewers as they see this on YouTube? And what are the words that you would have for them?
Thank you for the support. Even if it's not monetary and you can't do that, just your support and rallying behind us for Save Harley.
Right.
There's a hashtag.
There is a hashtag out
Yeah,
there.
saving Harley.
Yeah, there is a hashtag out there. I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper, and if I go too deep and too emotional, please let me know. What would you want to say to Harley?
Can't wait to hug her and tell her that it's gonna be okay.
That we love you and we're here to support you. And we want to make sure that you know that you're loved and we didn't want this for you. But now that we know, we're trying to bring you home where you belong.